while I get you started on this little step touch wrist roll. We have a bit of a core focused workout to begin, and then we have kind of a fun interval set after that I'm excited about. Oh, I'm just going with Hannah's 18. All right. I got some music, you got some music. We're good, we're good. Keep that going. Switch directions with the wrist if you haven't done so already. Oh, let's stop doing that and start doing this little push-pull, push in the middle, pull on each end. Just get our shoulders a little bit warm. Before we go into this grueling warm-up that we have in front of us, squeeze the shoulder blades together, get the chest nice and open. Pull like you mean it, even though we're just pantomiming. That's the key to the French art of pantomime. You gotta really imagine you're tearing a phone book apart or whatever the case may be that really gets you to engage with the movement in a different way. That's enough of that. Let's just do some easy high knee march, get our hip stabilizers warmed up, trying to keep everything really solid through the middle. Pelvis is like a full hot cup of tea, not tipping forward and back, not going too much side to side here. Oh, let's just add that opposite reach nice and slow. Maybe even pause at the top. Breathe into any areas that feel a little bit sticky or weak, or just need a little extra attention this morning. Nice. Let's just hit each side one more time, starting now. Yes. Oh, all right, swing your arms forward and back. We're gonna start in on the warm up. It's gonna be 10 each of 3 movements, and we're gonna do it 3 times. That is 270 reps. Wow, that sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Did I do that math right? 3 times 10 is 30 times 3 is, no, that's 90. Okay, it's only 90 reps. Calm down, everyone, calm down. We're gonna do, cat-cow. Just knowing that being on hands and knees might not feel great to everyone here. You can just do this in this sort of bent over position. So we'd just be rounding and arching here. No matter which variation you're choosing, you could also be on like a box or something. Not that you have a big wooden box next to you. I guess a couch is more likely. That's just an option for you. But we're gonna do 10 of these nice and slow. Think about lengthening tailbone out through the top of the head and then adding movement to that. So exhaling, drawing the navel in, inhaling, opening the chest. If you know you have really lots and lots and lots of arch in the back, and that doesn't always feel good, you don't have to go to the extreme here. We're just trying to get some movement into the spine while also keeping some intention towards lengthening through the spine. I'm at about 4, 5, let's say that's 5. Keep using your breath. If you do a different number in the time that I do 10, great. As you get into that flexion in the back, really pressing the shoulders down into the floor as well. We are gonna hit one more arch opening through the chest, and then one more cat position here. And we're gonna flip it over into some dead bug. So dead bug is really hard. If it's not hard, you might not be doing it exactly right. So the key here is that my shoulder blades are slightly off, and then I'm really tight through the middle of my body. So I can be pretty passive here and allow my low back to be unengaged, but I really wanna draw everything in and be pressing my low back towards the floor as much as possible. From there, this little movement off, opposite hand and foot, is just challenging that position. So if I'm just like super chill here, that's not a dead bug. That's just you're just moving your arms and legs around in this sort of passive position. So we really want to be tight here, like your ratchet strapped down to the floor, right across the navel. And then it's just taking opposite hand and leg off center a little bit to just sort of challenge that position. Nice and slow, spend time off center and keep that engagement through the low back as much as possible. We don't need to do a ton of these. And in fact, about halfway, you might find that that engagement sort of lapses. You might give yourself a little hug, reset, try to get back into that feeling of hollow body position. Alternate to extending that leg is just a toe tap. Again, the movement and the positions are somewhat incidental. Oh my gosh, Coach Jarek made such a good GIF of himself doing this movement. It cracks me up. All right, that's probably at least 10. We're gonna hit a down dog for some toe taps. Let me show it and then show an alternative. So down dog would be here. Down dog toe tap would be something like this, and then this. You can go ahead and get into 10 of those. If you wanna do that elevated, that's great. That's gonna be a slightly less hand, wrist, shoulder intensive version. You could also do like a touchdown from standing. That would be another great option. We're thinking about stretching from one heel across the glutes, across the back to that opposite pinky as we go here. Spending some time in the different positions. I'm gonna guess you've probably done 10 already. Let's get back to our cat-cow. Again, you can do this standing or whatever. Think about lengthening first. Inhale to open. Exhale, tuck the chin, draw in to arch. I guess they're both kind of an arch. That's not super descriptive. Maybe cat and cow could just be verbs. Exhale to cow. Or no, that's cat. Oh man. You're doing it. You're doing it. I'm gonna call that 8 for me. Again, do these slower or faster as feels right to you and where you're at this morning. 10, there it is for me. Getting back to those dead bugs. Again, the key is our starting and staying position of grounded through the mid and low back, abdominal muscles squeezed in around the spine. And then it doesn't really matter what we do beyond that, because even just holding that position should be a challenge. This movement is just testing that position and getting a little extra activation around some of the stabilizers. We're just doing 10 total here, so take your time. Grab your knees, reset if you need to. Toe taps or leg extensions are both great options here. I believe this is my last one. And then we're getting into those down dog toe taps once again. 10, so it's just 5 each side. Take your time with these as well. Lengthening across the entire posterior of the body from one heel to the opposite pinky and then the other. All right, and then last round here, back into that cat-cow, whatever variation works well for you. Lengthen first, and then try to keep the motion controlled and just within what feels like an appropriate amount of movement in the spinal segments. For me, I know it's safer to push a little harder in the cat position because my back tends to do the other thing a lot easier. And actually that has been feeling sort of tweaky in my low back and pelvis a little bit. So I know I'm gonna sort of limit my range of motion in one of these directions to what feels right today. Last one for me. Last set of dead bugs here. Nice. Looking good, Emily. Good hand positions, Aaron. That's all I can see. That's great. One more each side for me. And then last time through those down dog toe taps. Take your time here. Get some length to the backs of the legs. And that's 10 for me. Finish wherever you are. Do some easy movement in whatever way feels good. We all come back together here. Oh my gosh, you guys, we have a really fun abdominal gauntlet to run through. It's gonna be it's three sets, and then we're doing it all by reps. So we'll do it together. Again, if you wanna do a different number of reps in the time that it takes me to do the prescribed reps, great, that's a great option. We're gonna just do the first one together. If you sort of catch on and you're like, I'm bored, I wanna do this faster. And then I wanna go like check my email or something and then come back for the workout. I'm okay with that, I'm okay with that. Let's just run through these nice and slow, and I'll show you the modifications, and then you can approach the work however you like. We're going to do 5 inchworm plus reach plus hold. So I'll show you what that's gonna look like for me, and you can do what you like around that. So a nice tall extension, I think, is a good way to start and finish an inchworm. Keeping the legs as straight as possible, walking out. Ideally, hands come flat onto the floor at some point, and then once we hit plank, we could just hold here. We could even drop down to the knees for a 3-second plank hold. If you need more challenge, you can walk out a little bit further. If walking out even further and further and further is an option to you, great. That is not mandatory, but that is a way to make this harder. So after holding for 3 seconds, then we walk back up. Another option would be walking down the wall. So I'm going to start actually from that extended position, walk myself down the wall, and get into more like a down dog as my sort of ending position. That's another great way to do this. Let's go ahead and do 5 of these, however it works for you. I see we got I have a chat message. I'm going to check real quick. Make sure everything's cool. Aha. The puppy is calling. Not an emergency. All right. Walk out slower or faster if you like. Hold for 3 seconds if that works for you. Remember, we're trying to hit a nice strong plank, butt tight, front tight in that plank. And we're trying to get some length to the backs of our legs. Oh, I want to say that's 3 for me. Nice, looking good, everybody. If you are on your 5th one, great. Maybe make that hold a little bit extra at the end so we can all sort of end at a similar space. Next, we're going to, in the immortal words of Lil Jon, take it to the floor. We're going to get into this position. So I have my leg bent here so that can be really nice and rested onto the floor. We're going to do a side crunch in a kind of interesting way. I have my hand behind my head to support there. I'm going to lift this leg. That is optional. So you could leave that leg on the floor. You could bend that leg and lift it or not. Lifting this leg, and then we're just going to reach. So it actually doesn't feel make that much sense to me to support my head. We're doing this 10 times on this side. So it's a very small range of motion. We're really just trying to feel the activation through these obliques as we squeeze. Again, leg can be floated or not. You can probably feel it a decent amount if it's not. Bending that leg in makes it feel a little bit more comfortable to me to not have it floated. 9, 10, nice. Other side, same thing. Bent leg on the bottom, nice and supported. Options for that top leg. You can kind of play around between leaning back a little bit and leaning forward a little bit in case that helps your hip feel like it makes sense. I do feel like that arm overhead sort of helps me to feel a little bit supported through my shoulders, but it is up to you. Play around with the position here. 8, 9, 10. Don't go anywhere because we're going to do some side plank here. So side plank could be this with the hip down and just stretching out long and just making sure that you're keeping your spine in a relatively straight line, at least from this front view. Getting your your hip up, but keeping that knee down is another option. And then getting up onto the sides of the feet is your other option. From here, we're going to do 10 hips forward and back. So it's a small range of motion. It's kind of like we're going from that hollow body to that global arch. So we're trying to just make this a very small movement, pressing the hips a little bit forward, pulling them a little bit back. Again, you can be down on that knee, squeeze the glutes. Always thinking about lengthening here, not crunching through the spine if we can help it. So it's just 5 forward, 5 back on each side here. I think we probably nailed it there. Hitting the other side. And just holding side plank here if that feels good. Butt tight, front tight, hips lifted enough so that your spine is in a nice organized line. At least from the front view, that line can be fairly straight, or as straight as your spine can be. I know straight is not I'm trying to think of a linear spine. That's a little less loaded. There we go. All right. And then finally, we're going to do 5 each side, seated straddle leg lifts. So this is a seated straddle. I'm getting in here. Let's just take a moment to just sort of move around in the seated straddle for a moment. Take a moment to do this for a moment. Yes, that's what I said. Making sure we're just a little bit warmed up to the seated straddle position. And then the seated straddle leg lift and hold is going to start by turning towards one leg. I'm going to place my hands here. This is actually going to be really brutally hard for me. And I'm just going to lift and hold for 3, 2, 1. Oh, and then I'm going to set that down. Oh, it's seizing up on me. All right, let's just try that on the other side. Turning to that other side, lifting for 3, 2, 1. Ooh. So the more leaned back you are, the easier that might be. Oh, my hip flexors are just seizing up. Maybe you're having that problem. So a way to make this harder, if this is easy for you, is to lift and then slide your hands out as you're holding. I cannot demonstrate that. Sorry. Nice and tall, lean back more or lean forward more. Lift and hold for 3, 2, 1. You can also do this a little less straddled if that feels better. Other side again. Lift and hold. 3, 2, one. You could even be lean back and lift and hold, and that'll take some of the range of motion aspects out of it. Back to that first side. Here we are on 3, 3, 2, 1. Second side. Lift. 3, 2, 1. And I'm going to call this last round on this exercise for the first round. Lift. 3, 2, 1. Last side. Here we go. Lift. 4, 3, 2, 1. Puppy! Puppy! Yes. Oh, so cute. All right, everyone. That's it. That's our core stuff. We're going to do 2 more rounds of that. Continue to use the modifications as you need. I will count my own reps. If you want to just do the work that you end up getting done in the time that it takes me to do the prescribed reps, great. We're starting with that inchworm and reach. Inhale. Forward fold. Walk it out. Walk it as far up as you want to go, holding for 3, 2, 1. Walking back up. Do this at your own pace. I'm going to do 5. All right, I'm going to move on to those side plank crunches, getting down, or sorry, side crunches into that side lying position, leg floated or not, small range of motion here, squeezing everything in towards the spine for 10 of these. Hold that squeeze for a moment on each side, or in each rep, I should say. Oh, puppy. Oh, puppy. If you're not in grid view, you should get into grid view just to see that puppy will just inspire you. Oh, fresh life. Other side here for 10. Nice. Nice, Kira. Nice hold at the top. Looking good. Nice, Emily. Good pace. Nice hold at the top. Jen, you're doing amazing. It's a really strong side plank for the distraction you got going on there. All right, getting into our side plank for those hips forward and back. Nice strong side plank. And then continuing to lengthen, heel out through the top of the head or knees out through the top of the head as you just slightly press forward and back with the hips. Just 5 to the front, 5 to the back. Getting in on that other side. Lengthen first, squeeze forward, squeeze back. And then getting into our straddle, seated straddle. Once again, this is going to feel a little bit easier as we warm up to this movement a little bit more. A little bit further forward if that works for you. Otherwise, starting up and sliding the hands out through that 3-second hold. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Oh yeah. There's the other side, back to the first side for me. 2, 1. Whew. 3, 2, 1. Oh, a little break in the middle for me. Back to that first side. 3, 2, 1. Whew. Other side. Lift for 3, 2, 1. Oh. All right, last set here. Back to the first side. Lift. 3, 2, 1. Last side here. Lift for 3, 2, 1. All right. I'm realizing I missed something in the demos. We're going to just add it in here real quick. It's 20 tuck rocks. So this is our tuck position. We want, again, the belly to be sort of squeezed in. And we want this to be a smooth rock. If you have a little, like I do, like a little stop at the end there, instead of rolling smoothly through that low back, it means your low back isn't as curved as it could be. So we're just going to try our best to get the back curved by pulling the knees in pretty close to the chest. And we're just doing 20 of these. It can be real small, or it can be a little bit bigger. It can be big enough to come all the way up into like a boat position. You can hold your knees, you can hold more towards your shins, or you can float your hands, holding it all together with your abdominal strength. All right, we did it. Let's do it one more time. Inchworm and reach here. We go. Deep breath up. Walk out as far as feels good to you this morning. Hold for 3. Nice. 5 of these. Faster or slower. Move at a pace that feels right to you. Going for the fullest range of motion, the most activation, and the best control for your quality of movement is more important than doing 5 of these. Last one for me. Getting down into those side crunches. Big squeeze, small movement. Squeeze at the top if you can. For 10 on each side. Reaching towards the heel. Nice, looking good. Woo, there's 10 for me. Slow with a powerful squeeze there. Looking good. And there's 10 for me. Side plank with those push forward, push back. Any style of side plank. Lengthen first, and then small movements forward and back. Front is 1, back is 2, so on and so forth until you hit 10 or whatever. I'm hitting the other side here. Got a little sweat going. This is that kind of controlled, focused work that doesn't always feel like a workout. It just feels like, oh, I know I'm getting stronger. I know I'm getting stronger. Straddle, seated, straddle, seat. This is my time where I feel the least cool as a fitness instructor. This is a position I need more work in. First side down, other side, 3, 2, 1. Again, if you need more, leaning forward more is gonna up the ante here. 3, 2, 1. Second on the other side. 3, 2, 1. Really sit up nice and tall. Back to first side, third time here. 3, 2, 1. Other side. Squeeze. 3, 2, 1. Fourth set, here we go. First side. 3, 2, 1. Other side. 3, 2, 1. All right, last time each side. Stretch up tall, lift. 3, 2, 1. Woo. And again, last side. 3, 2, 1. Let's hit those 20 tuck rocks, and then we shall move on. Again, from this position, you can reach towards the heels. You can actually hold the knees if that helps you. And then these rocks can be bigger or smaller, whatever works for you. For 20. Trying for a smooth roll throughout. Really focusing on that nice tight brace through the middle to keep the back in that curve. Keep breathing. Oh, that was a good finisher. Nicely done, everybody. Take a moment, swing your arms, do some butt kickers, spend a few seconds in a squat here. I'm gonna explain the workout and then we're gonna do it. You're gonna need something heavy-ish. We're gonna do some swings. Let's just do some unweighted swings unless you have something handy. I don't know if you wanna swing that puppy or not, probably not. I don't know. Maybe, nice, a slow motion puppy swing. You can do a Russian swing, which is just your object comes up to about shoulder height, or you can do your American swing where you're pulling that thing up from the swing, punching it out overhead, catching again, close punch. If you have a dumbbell or even 2 dumbbells, you can do that. It's just a little bit more awkward than a kettlebell, but we can do it. So play around with that for a moment if you like. If you have a kettlebell, that is of course ideal for swinging. We're just, oh, and the sandbag, yeah. You might want to combine those handles actually on that. So you're just holding it in one place. So you could get these 2 guys and hold it like that. That would be one option. Or like this, I guess, combining those 2 handles. And that's going to behave a little bit more like a kettlebell. That actually feels pretty good. It's a little bit awkward. But you know what? That awkwardness is going to make it more of a challenge. And then we've got a waiter walk high knee. So we're holding our object overhead on one side and just doing a high knee march. We're going to do each of these for 30 seconds. Then we're going to hit some squat clean. So we'll come back to that. Just realizing that's going to be heavy to start a squat clean. So squat clean, we're going to do these single-handed. If you have 2 weights, great. So from the floor or from our hang position, we're popping up to that full extension and we're going to try to get under it into a full squat. So whether that's here with a kettlebell or a dumbbell, great. Release all the way down to the floor or just to that hang, whatever feels right. But we're going for that full extension in the pull, using the legs to pop that weight up, catching in the squat. Back down. 30 seconds. You might alternate that, especially if you can get to the floor. You might do one on one side, one on the other side. Boop. Or if you have 2 things, you're great. Lots of options there. I'll continue to talk about that and show that. And then we're just on the left side, waiter walk. 30 seconds each. We're doing 5 rounds of this. That's 10 minutes. We got to get going. Any questions before we get into it? 30 seconds each. So we're just going to be doing the same movement at the same time. You choose a pace that is good for you. Turn the music up if you want. Ready. soon as I set up my thing so I can actually tell you when to switch here, that's going to be really helpful. All right, we're going in 10. 5, 4, swings, start it off. 3, 2, 1, swings. Again, Russian swings or American swings, whatever feels right to you. If you're still working on your swings and it's pretty new to you, a very light or no weight, or just trying to keep that weight pretty close in above the knees and getting that back nice and straight through that hinge is key here. Waiter walk, high knee on the first side in 2, 1. We're hitting an overhead hold, and then it's just a high knee march. Remember, your pelvis should feel like a nice, very full cup of hot tea. We're trying to keep that thing from spilling all over. Front of the body is nice and strong here. Minimizing side to side tippage with the hips. Squat cleans in 3, 2, 1. Again, from the hang or the floor, trying to catch in that squat, alternating. If that works for you, you can always switch in the middle and never go down to the floor. Dropping to the other hand. Or sitting all the way down. Yeah, nice. Or you got that double-handled thing and you can just do them balance the whole time. Waiter walk, other side in 3, 2, 1. Other arm is up. High knee march. Nice, looking good. Nice, Kira, nice tall position. Nice strong core, looking strong. Nice, Sarah, nice overhead position. Back to those swings in 3, 2, 1, swings. If you want to throw in some American swings, pulling through the swing, punching out over top, great. Back to that waiter walk first side in a little bit here. 3, 2, 1, waiter walk first side. Nice. Nice, Emily. Good pace. Nice, solid attention to core. Nice, Aaron, looking strong. Good pace, everyone. Good control. 2, 1, squat cleans. Trying to hit that full extension in our pull, and then quickly dipping into that squat. Nice, Jen, nice strong pull. Nice quick turnaround from that extension. Other side, waiter walk in 2, 1. Nice. This is a good one. I like this series. It's a good mix of movement. Glutes are getting it. Core is definitely getting it. Quads are getting it with those squats. 2, 1, back to swings. Nice, Jen, nice strong swings. Nice, Sarah. Good hinge. 3, 2, 1. Waiter walk, first side. 10 seconds. Squat cleans in 2, 1. We are halfway through this workout. Yeah. Waiter walk, other side in 3, 2, 1, get it. You may have noticed there are no breaks in this workout. You get to choose when you break. Take your time with those transitions. Modify the movements as you need. Keep breathing. Nice, looking good, everyone. Nice and tall. Nice, strong overhead positions. Nice, Jen. Nice, Sarah. Back to swings in 3, 2, 1. If you need more, keep those transitions tight. Nice, Emily. Good transition. Those sandbags are cumbersome, which makes them a really good piece of equipment for real life. Real life is cumbersome. Waiter walk, first side in 3, 2, 1. Ooh. My wrist is unused to this heavy of a kettlebell. It does not feel good. Squat cleans in 3, 2, 1. A lot happening in these squat cleans. Slow it down if you need. Catch, reset, and then do your squat if that feels good. Staying safe and working hard. Other way to walk in 2, 1, get it. You could up the pace a little bit if that felt good to you. Or maybe slowing the pace down is actually the harder option. Oh, nice, everyone, looking good. Nice, Sarah, nice tall hold, looking strong. Nice, Emily, good attention to detail. Swings in 3, 2, 1. 2 minutes remaining here. That makes this our final round. Finish strong, everyone. Almost there. First side way to walk. In 3, 2, 1, get it. Nice, Aaron. Nice, Kira. Beautiful overhead. Nice and still through the midsection, looking strong. Nice, Jen, looking good. Also really strong overhead position. Beautiful, everyone. Squat cleans in 3, 2, 1. Nice, Jen. Good power through that pull. Nice fast turnover. Nice, Emily. Good use of that sandbag. Looking strong. Less than 10 here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Waiter walk. Last side here. 30 seconds of work. Faster or slower, as you like. Got this, almost there. 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo. Yes. Beautifully done, everyone. Beautifully done. Oh. All right. It is about that time. We managed to use up our time and then some once again. Feel free to unmute yourself and sign off. Nice work, Kira. If you want a little bit of mobility, stick around. But again, if you gotta go, just try to get some movement in throughout the day. Keep things a little bit loose. Any requests for mobility? Something bugging you? Right. We have the whole thing, everything. All right, all right. Let's do a little thing. So the written suggestion of mobility is full upright lunge, which is in some ways similar to that couch stretch. And I just want to give you some different ways to kind of engage with it. So full upright lunge is going to be this situation where we're also grabbing back here. This is like a pretty good substitute for couch stretch. You might need a strap to get there, but that would be one good option. The other good option would be having your knee up on something in like a quad stretch. That's a little bit more accessible, and depending on the height of your object, that's going to be a good option. Which all of this is going to be somewhat similar to that couch stretch, whether you're on a couch or down at the floor. This sort of takes away the need for that reaching back and lets you focus a little bit more on core control. So that's really key in all of these. So keep doing what you're doing. If you're trying stuff out, great. So when we sit, our hip flexors can get really tight and they just get short. They're not like permanently short necessarily, but they're just used to holding this position. And we're actually using them to try to hold our back from like collapsing. So we're actually turning them on in this sort of weakened and shortened position. And then they just like, they're like, oh, I have to be in this position to hold things together. And that's not a great position for standing, for one, because they want to just pull us into this butt back, belly forward position. And it's really not good for being in a lunge position where the leg actually has to go back, because then they're really doubling down on that pull on the front of the pelvis and the low back. So it's up to us to really think about neutralizing the pelvis. Again, like it's that hot cup of tea. We're trying not to spill it. So really staying tight through the middle, and you can sort of turn that on and off to engage that stretch. So whether you're down here, just in this position, just here, and just doing some, almost like you're doing a little bit of a crunch here, we'll turn that stretch on and off, and that's great. Being active to engage a stretch is a great way to sort of incorporate a stretch into some functional position. If you're down here and you're holding, that's great too. Same thing. Closing in here, like you're tucking the tailbone forward, is a good way to sort of build into that stretch. Another thing we can do is press into the hand. So this hand holding the foot or the floor, I can press that in really hard, and that's gonna sort of engage the muscles that I'm then trying to stretch. So I'm gonna press that in, deep breath in, hold for 3, 2, 1, then in a long, slow exhale, I can release that pressure and then focus on that contracting through the front, neutralizing the pelvis underneath, tucking the tailbone under, and that's gonna help release some of that latent tension there. There you go. There's my mobility lesson for today. All of those are good options, but only if you do them, and probably you gotta stick to one side for about 2 minutes to have much in the way of permanent progress. If you did just what we did now,